Well, this is the best you're going to get. I am driving back to Nashville Airport. I'm actually twice today. I'm early for a flight. Now, obviously, my return flight was a little screwed up because of the time change at Oak Grove. But as it turns out, I couldn't have made the earlier flight anyway. So not really a big deal. I'm going to go have a couple of drinks, maybe have a meal, and wait for my flight that flies out at 7 o'clock. It's shortly after 2 here. So, pretty successful day. I'll start with Zena Kemp. A number of people, maybe, I didn't know if they were clients of ours or not, had messaged me asking about her. Listen, it's just one of those things. We got her down there. Eric jogged her today. You can see on the, I don't want to get this wrong, left foot outside bulb, there's a lot of, she's got quite a pulse in her foot. For horsemen, you know what I'm talking about. And the right bulb, where the back two nails would sit on that shoe, she's quite tender on to push. So something's going to come out of there. Eric knows what he's doing. I'm hopeful we can get that popped out of there and cleaned up where she's comfortable. And then next week, race her in a maiden, which would be a prep, as they don't race the stake races back-to-back weeks. It's 2 weeks back now for the ones that race today. So unfortunate, but to be fair, Zena was going to have to be at 100% today. They went 56-3 and looked very, very good. Off a half in 59-3. She would have been sitting probably 4th or 5th at the best at the quarter pole and at the half. So she would have had to gone a gargantuan mile to get there in 56-3 today. I'm not worried about the speed-wise of 56, but how the race would have set up, how she would have got there, and could she have got there. That filly of Aaron Johnson's raced great, and good for him too. Good guy, good Meadows guy. Trained that horse down. I'm pretty sure him and his girlfriend or wife own the horse, if I'm not mistaken, and likely going to entertain some serious offers on her. And I hope they get all the money they want. Really nice people, and your filly raced there. Filly raced absolutely tremendous today. Love Sensation. After watching it, I guess the way I felt after the race was, you know what? Let's skip the stakes and go to a maiden. All those fillies fit a maiden, right? Even the ones that were kind of also ran pretty good today. So I'm thinking, hit her left hind up high, up on the jack. We've had horses do that a lot of times, but that doesn't go anywhere right away, right? You can't really work your way through it. It's kind of a tricky situation. And I would say the obvious answer is the easiest one, which is just give her some time off. Her attitude was on point today. She came to Oak Grove wanting to do her work. They were going to sprint away from her in the last turn, and she just spun off, hit herself, and made a break in the last turn, and that's what happened with Love Sensation today. But I liked her attitude today. She gave me some fits a little bit at the qualifiers. She made things kind of difficult on me, but I'll tell you what, different horse showed up today. Just wasn't fully equipped to go the mile that she was asked to go today, and quite frankly, after watching 2 or 3 divisions of fillies, 2 for sure, I believe, maybe 3, definitely 2 divisions of fillies, she doesn't want any part of them right now. She's a big, strong filly, and I think it's one of these situations where her attitude today was the key. The key was the attitude, her work ethic. I don't care about the break. She made a break because she hit herself. But what she was doing up until that point was all she could do. You can't ask for anything more than that. So well-bred, good-looking filly that's got a lot of growing to do. I'm just going to give her some time off. Give her 3 or 4 weeks out in the field. Get her ready for the latter part of Lexington. Hope for Corbin. Hope we can have her good for Corbin and race her there. That would be my plan, my thoughts on Love Sensation. I think she's going to be a very useful horse for us. And I'll tell you why. You look at the breeding. She has shown speed. Her breeding is good. But her work ethic, the work ethic was there today. I was so happy to see that. I know she made a break, and it's tough to watch your horse make a break and hear me tell you about how it's okay and how she was good. It's never okay to make a break, but it wasn't her fault today. And I loved what she was doing up until that point. So Love Sensation's going to get a little time off. Now, next. What do we got next? Wait. Grand Slam deal. Amy said, why didn't we just keep racing her at the Meadows? Well, she didn't fit that class anymore. That's the biggest reason why. I'll tell you that non-winners of 3 is a tough enough crew. They'll probably end up going in 55, 56 every week. and she raced good at the Meadows. But you know what? It's not about complacency. I don't want to just have her good at the Meadows. I want her to get better. And today she was just slipping. Full sweat shoes on up front. Did not have Boreum. I don't believe she had Boreum on up front, which kind of cost her, I think. But I'm pretty sure there's consolation for the 3-year-old division. That's one. And two, circling back to a race today, the fillies that were first and second, they accounted for almost $600,000 made as 2-year-olds. Quality, sire, stake fillies. Looped right over in front of them. She did everything she could to trot with them and ended up faltering, but held on for fourth. 1:57 on a deep track, quite frankly. But again, I thought she came to play. It's pretty hard to falter when she comes to play. She just ran into 2 bigger kids on the playground. That's all, well, 3 as it turns out, but definitely the ones that were first and second. But held on and beat good horses to be fourth. So good job by her. And then we got to 2 fillies. One looked exactly as advertised. I told you she was abnormally fast. That's how I put it. Jailbird Jog at no point in the mile. Steve said he was watching the race and he goes, I just thought you couldn't be any better than third at the half. At no point in the mile, 3 steps out of the gate when she was quiet and landing down to the rail, I thought I was a winner. I have that much faith in her. I just don't think there's a horse that is as fast as her. You know, Kathy loved Maury last year. Loves Maury anyway, for what he did for them and the ride that he gave them. And she, I told her, I said, this is probably the best trotter we've ever had. Well, we've only had 1 world champion, which is not complete. She might not have said it like that, because we've had 3. But Jailbird Jog, again, I'm going to use at this moment. It would be unfair and disrespectful to say she's better than any horse we've ever had, because we've had some good horses. But I will say, at this point in time, we have never had a more talented trotter. Not ever. I haven't anyway. That I've sat behind, not like this thing. She is, as I said, and I think it describes her perfectly, abnormally fast. Sat 5th quietly, and around the last turn, the little fellow there that does the commentating was right. He said, I think she pulled herself 3 deep. She did. She said, no, enough following. We won't be doing any more of that. I almost missed my turn. I actually, what is it telling me to go here? Burley Parkway. Okay. I almost missed my turn. He had said, I think the filly pulled herself 3 deep. He's right. Around the last turn, I was second over, and it was almost like she said, I've had enough of the following stuff. And she just wheeled herself out 3 deep and was absolutely gone. And just a really, really nice filly. And I just can't say enough about her. And listen, she can beat her own drum now. I don't need to beat it for her. She's a nice filly, and she's going to show you how nice she is hopefully over the next months or even years with us. She's an incredibly gifted filly. I had somebody message me asking if she was for sale, and we're going to have more and more and more of those phone calls over the next month or so. But I would think, and I can't speak for all the owners, but I think I wasn't given a dollar amount offer today, but I would think that the amount would have to be substantial to entertain it. So an exciting time for the ownership, and I think you're going to see a similar story maybe over the next few weeks with Perfect Thought, maybe in New Jersey. They just seem to be a little different than the other ones. And, when you look, that's so sad, because a horse like Uncle Danny's a killer. Absolute killer. But he doesn't want any part of Jailbird Jog, I can tell you that. So, Jailbird Jog was fantastic today. Really happy with her, and happy how quiet she was, understanding her work. And I think that is so. And I'm always going to give you this little rub with all of them. You look back at all the breaks she made, all the things she did wrong all winter. One might say she was learning how to do it right by doing it wrong. And that might sound silly to you, but the mistakes we make in life kind of harden us, right? And it's not that different for horses either. And Jailbird Jog completely understands her job now. Completely understands it and is very good at it. And that's a scary combination. So, Jailbird Jog was great, and overshadowed was Deoff. I said to Scotty, if Jailbird Jog wasn't here, I would be super thrilled with Deoff. Let me just roll this back 6 days for you. I keep telling you can't miss training trips going in. So 6 days ago, last Tuesday, Deoff qualifies. We were up against it because she had to qualify last Tuesday if she was coming to Kentucky. Her training schedule in the 10-day period leading up to that qualifier was sketchy at best because she was not healthy. The day that we got the green light, so the first day she woke up and didn't feel sick, it was the first day she trained. And that was 4 days before her qualifier. Come out of the qualifier, or come out of the training mile, good, scoped with mucus. We knew it was there. You know, she was on a broad span antibiotic. Took her over to the Meadows, and that was a game time decision in its own right. Took her over to the Meadows, qualified her 2-1 in the pouring rain. A couple of clients said, maybe she's just not good enough. I said, I don't think you understand. The training schedule alone would account for a lackluster effort. Factoring in her state of, her physical state right now, it's impossible to judge what she just did. All I know is she went 2-1 in the pouring rain. Last quarter in 29, last half 58 or 59. We drew her blood the next day. We did an SAA test. Now, SAA test, the level is 0 to 3,000. 0, fine. 3,000, as I jokingly said, seek medical attention immediately. And further to that, Steph's Hope, I told you guys in open house day, had gobs of mucus. Well, the only reason she went, it was all allergies. The only reason she went is because we did a similar test, an SAA test on her. And her level was 1. The number 1. Deoff's level, the day after she qualified, was 1,400. We changed her medication, put her on Genocin. Could not train her for 6 days. And in fact, as I told you in a video the other day, if Dr. Latessa did not greenlight her to go to Kentucky on Saturday, she was scratched. She was not attending the races today. Her SAA on Saturday morning was 140, I think, or 114, one or the other. I remember him telling me. But I said, what are your thoughts? He goes, well, it was 1,400, it's 114. It's trending in a great direction. She's bright, she's eating all her meals, she has no mucus, no temperature, no coughing, no nothing. It would be hard for me not to say, you can probably race her if you want. And that's how she spent her last 6 days, jogging lightly. She gets down to Kentucky, drop her in the 5-hole. A very sensible group. It went sensible fractions. Around the last turn, I kicked the earplugs out. Now this, I told you about this deep track with flip-flops. Now, to be fair, Jailbird Jog wears flip-flops also. So does Deoff. And 2 sets of bell boots, a little extra weight, just to make sure she can get it done. Closing. I kicked the earplugs coming into last turn. She was closing. Give me another 30 yards and we'll win her. 58, last quarter 28 apiece, last half 58. Off of what I just told you. Still can't judge this filly. It was so cool because somebody asked me, where'd you get the jog filly? I said, I was going out on the track with Deoff. Now, many of you may remember, there was a photo taken after that day's sale session, or during that day's sale session in Lexington. I bought Jailbird Jog and Deoff out of Concord for the exact same amount of money, $52,000.